had always been a skeptic. I didn't believe in mysticism, ghosts, or rumours about cursed places. But one day, something that happened at an evening school forever changed my perception of the unexplained. The beginning. The evening school job was a temporary solution for me. I got hired as a weekend night guard to earn some extra money. The old school building stood at the end of a street, surrounded by abandoned houses. Locals said the school was built in the early 20th century, and after a fire in the 1970s, it was partially restored. Many talked about strange occurrences there at night, but as a rational person, I dismissed it as nonsense. My first night on duty, that Saturday, I arrived a bit early. The streets were already empty, and a single streetlight dimly illuminated the road. Unlocking the creaky old door, I stepped inside. The dimly lit school hallways greeted me with an eerie silence. My office was located on the first floor, next to the teacher's lounge. Everything was quiet. I walked through the floors, checking if all the windows and doors were locked, making sure there were no intruders. Settling into an old wooden chair in my room, I turned on a desk lamp and prepared to read a book to pass the time until morning. Around 10 p.m, I heard footsteps. They came from the upper floor. I thought maybe someone had snuck in and headed upstairs with my flashlight. The second floor was empty, but I noticed a strange dark mark on the floor, as if someone had walked there with muddy shoes. Probably just my imagination, I thought, and returned to my post. Whispers in the dark. The clock showed 11:30 p.m. when I heard something again. This time, it was a faint whisper. It seemed to come from the physics classroom on the second floor. I grabbed my phone and flashlight, climbed the stairs and opened the door. The classroom was empty, but the whispering persisted. It seemed to come from the corner where an old cabinet stood. As I approached, the flashlight flickered and went out. I froze, unable to believe what was happening. Suddenly, the cabinet creaked, as if someone inside was trying to open it. I quickly flung the doors open, but it was empty. Only the stale smell of dust and wood remained. Returning to my room, I sat down and tried to rationalize. Maybe it was the wind, or just my mind playing tricks on me. But the whisper had sounded too real. A strange discovery. A little after 1 a.m, I decided to do another round of the building. Passing by the gym, I noticed the door was ajar, even though I was sure I had locked it. Entering, I turned on the lights and froze. Someone had drawn a circle on the floor with chalk, filled with strange symbols. In the center of the circle was an old, worn-out backpack. It looked like it had been there for decades. I stepped closer and opened it. Inside was a photograph of a school class. On the back, it read, 1974. My heart raced. I remembered that this was the year of the fire that had taken several students' lives. Suddenly, the lights in the gym flickered, and I heard a creaking sound behind me. Turning around, I saw a shadow in the corner. It didn't move, but resembled a human figure. Panicking, I turned off the lights and ran out of the gym, leaving the backpack behind. The unexplainable returning to my room. I locked the door and sat down, trying to calm myself. But soon, the whispering returned. This time, it came from the hallway. Summoning courage, I opened the door and looked out. The lamp's light illuminated only part of the corridor, but in the distance, I saw the door to one of the classrooms slowly closing. I walked toward it. The history classroom door was slightly ajar. Peeking inside, I saw that someone had written on the chalkboard in white chalk, "They are still here." I stumbled back but slipped and fell. When I got up, the shadow appeared again. It stood motionless, and an icy chill emanated from it. I closed my eyes, expecting the worst, but nothing happened. When I opened them, the shadow was gone, and the hallway was silent once more. Morning, I didn't sleep until dawn. When the clock struck 6 a.m, I packed my things and left the school. The director was waiting for me at the entrance. "How was the night?" he asked with a slight smile. I didn't know how to answer. I didn't want to tell him everything that had happened. "Quiet," I replied, but my voice shook slightly. Since then, I've never returned to that school. A few years later, I learned it had been demolished and replaced with a shopping centre. But sometimes, I still think about that backpack, the photograph, And those shadows. Whatever it was, it stayed in the past. Or maybe it's still waiting for someone new in the silence of the night.